What are carbon emissions? Carbon emissions from buildings refers to the amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases released into the atmosphere as a result of extraction and transportation of raw materials, manufacturing building products, transportation to construction sites, installation on the site, building use, and end of life, which includes deconstruction, transport of waste materials, processing, and disposal. In total, buildings account for about 40% of carbon emissions. This includes both operational and embodied carbon. The carbon emissions timeline of a building can be seen here. And one important thing to note is that embodied carbon is irreversible. Every part of a building, every piece of material used in construction is accounted for in embodied carbon. This also means that embodied carbon emissions are upfront and have already been emitted by the first day of the building's operation. Operational carbon emissions are emitted throughout the operational building's lifespan during regular day-to-day use. For example, let's take the wall of this building. It's made up of different layers: gypsum sheathing, insulation, framing, and another layer of gypsum sheathing. If we add up all of the carbon emissions associated with each layer for extraction and transportation of raw materials, manufacturing building products, transportation to construction sites, installation on the site, use and maintenance, and end of life, which includes deconstruction, transport of waste materials, processing, and disposal, we get the total embodied carbon of the wall assembly. Now, if we do the same exercise for all building elements, such as doors, windows, roofs, and more, we can get the total embodied carbon emissions for a building. And looking even bigger, the buildings and each of their elements around the world contribute to all embodied carbon emissions. That's why it's so important to try and reduce them while we can. If not, things will get pretty hot on the planet due to increased construction and associated carbon emissions. Now that you know about carbon emissions, and especially embodied carbon, let's talk about a solution and how to reduce them.